Welcome back to the Angels here on MLB The Show 25. As you can see, we are here at the end of the offseason. It is March 2027, so we are here preparing to embark on Season 3 here. We will be kicking off our season against the Houston Astros with a home opener, which is also opening day overall for us. But before we get into that, it is time to take a look at what this roster looks like here for us this season. So on the pitching rotation side of things, our opening day starter, our number one, is going to be Shane McClanahan, the lefty we acquired at last year's trade deadline from the Tampa Bay Rays. We also already have extended him. He had one more year of team control, so he was going to be with us this year regardless, but now we have him bought out for multiple seasons after this. So we have this year plus 5 more here in Anaheim. And then we have Caden Dana, who is our number 2. He was our best starter last year, stats-wise, followed by George Klassen behind him. Left-hander Reed Detmers is our 4th starter, and then in the 5 spot is Jack Kahanowitz, finally getting his shot in our Major League rotation. And then on the bullpen side of things, it is Hans Kraus. In the long relief spot, simply he's our worst reliever, I feel like, so he's just going to go into the bullpen as that long man. And then in the middle relief, we have Kevin Ginkel, who is a newly acquired pitcher in this offseason. Ryan Johnson, the Dallas Baptist man. Jose Soriano, the reliever. Sam Bachman. And then in the setup role will be Camilo Doval. And Yusei Kikuchi is now a reliever for us. He is no longer looked at as a starting pitcher. He has been converted to a reliever. And then in the closer spot is Ben Joyce. We could at some point move Ben Joyce into a different role if he keeps struggling in that role, but we want to see if he can figure it out because ideally this is the guy we have in our closer spot. While on the hitting side of things, here is what things look like. We have Nolan Schanuel leading things off at DH, just like last year, followed by Mike Trout in right field, Lamont Wade at first base, Zach Neto playing third base this year in the cleanup spot because he has really jumped his power up coming off the season with 29 big flies for us. So I think he's got the pop to hit there, and he's going to continue to hit there. So Neto is our cleanup guy. Ohapi is in the 5-hole. Then it's followed by Dylan Carlson to break up the monotony of the right-handers there with a switch bat, which obviously is just going to be another righty when it comes to a left-handed pitching, but still, you've got the lefty there against righties. And then Hassan Kim, our new shortstop, is hitting 7th, playing short, obviously. And then Christian Moore is actually going to be our everyday second baseman, followed by Wensil Perez in center field, who we acquired from the Detroit Tigers for Chase Silseth in a trade. Christian Moore, we're going with him because we want him to play every day. We want him to develop. We want him to at least get a chance to be the everyday second baseman here this season. And if he can turn it on and develop for us and turn into a really powerful second baseman bat, a Dan Uggla type perhaps, that would be fantastic. While Luis Arias has now been shifted to a bench role for us along with Curtis Mead. Gustavo Campero is our backup catcher. And then Isaac Collins. I keep calling him Zach Collins. Isaac Collins is our 4th outfielder. Tidbit here on Curtis Mead is that since Lamont Wade, even though he can hang against left-handed pitching, obviously much better against right-handed pitching as a lefty-lefty bat. With that 98 discipline, he could still, give us some ABs against lefties, but just because Curtis Mead is so good against lefties, we are going to be playing him against left-handed pitching as the first baseman. It just makes more sense to me to do that, so we're actually having a bit of a platoon at first base this year. And then I should mention that we do currently have 3 players who are trying to pass their waivers down to AAA because they had no options left. One of them is Vidal Brujan, who was our utility bench piece last season. Nick Prado, who, same thing last year. We signed him in the offseason after Season 1. Season 2 to start, we passed him through waivers. He ended up being on our AAA team the whole season. Didn't really do anything for us, but just to see if we can maybe keep him around, we're attempting to do that again. And then Travis Blankenhorn, we are now trying to do that with him. He's coming off a year where he actually did quite well for us in a very, very, very limited sample size, but obviously 5 home runs, 2 doubles, one of them being that crazy, I think it was a 2-run blast against Baltimore that didn't end up winning us the game, but he did have some decent stats for us in a very limited sample size, and he was always quite good in AAA, so we're kind of hoping that he is able to pass through waivers, but if not, it's not the end of the world. We have some players we like just as much as we like him. And then we are actually going to attempt to make a waiver claim here possibly even 2, but maybe just 1. I'm leaning towards 1 here. So our rotation, as I talked about, is McClanahan, Detmers, Klassen, Dana, Kahanowitz. And then as our depth starting pitching, we have Ian Anderson and Andres Rivera. So those guys could very well be in the big leagues this season. We don't even mind Enriquez as an option for us in the big leagues this season if we need to go that route. But I would like to have one more like depth starter guy to move into the rotation if somebody gets hurt, because people get hurt. It's baseball, it's what happens. And I've talked about how it's just very annoying to move people from the rotation to the bullpen in this game, because if you move a starter to the bullpen, the game's just going to use them for 120 innings, and it's just really annoying to go up and down. And obviously we've changed Soriano to a reliever, so if we put him back to the rotation, we'd have to like raise his stamina and then drop his hit per 9 and K per 9 ratings a little bit, and because they're juiced in the bullpen, and it's a whole thing. It's very annoying, so I just prefer not to do that. And we've done the same thing with Kikuchi. Ryan Johnson's a guy we could possibly give more stamina to move him to the rotation. So we've got options, but like I just don't want to do that. It's very annoying to do, so we're just not going to do it. And instead, I would prefer to have a guy who's actually going to be a starter, who we could actually have as a starter. Now, this claim would make it to where we would have to have this guy as a member of our bullpen, and that's, kind of annoying, but if we take a look at the current waiver wire here, no, we're not going to claim Lance McCullers. We're going to be claiming another guy who is a former Houston Astro in Ronel Blanco here, 77 overall, 33-year-old right-hander. Bit of a late bloomer, so he still has 2 years of arbitration after this, only at $4 million this season. In 2025, the first year of this universe, he was pretty solid. He had 181 innings, he had a sub-4 ERA, he had a bit higher of a FIP, but he was a solid, serviceable starting pitcher. Unfortunately, this past season, not good whatsoever. His K rate went up, but so did his walk rate, his home run rate went up, everything went up, and just wasn't as good of a pitcher. But he has shown that he is able to perform well. His ratings are quite decent. He has that hit per 9, he has that K per 9. Now, the thing is, he is going to give up a ton of home runs, give up a ton of walks, but he's got a really good clutch rating. He's got good control, decent enough velocity. He's got good break. He can go deep into games, limits hits. He's shown that he could be an effective starting pitcher in this universe, so I think we're going to throw a claim on him, and then that obviously would make it to where we're going to have to put him in our bullpen here because he has no options, but I don't know. I know I just got over that whole thing where it's annoying to move people from the bullpen into the rotation, so I think we're just going to bite the bullet and just have this guy in a middle relief role, not a long relief role, because I don't trust the AI. If I put this guy in the long relief role, not to throw him 180 innings, and I know that Kahanowitz just threw like 120 in the middle relief role, but I don't know. I'm just hoping that they're going to use him in more situational spots than they would if I put in the long relief, because it used to just be you put a guy in the long relief role and he's going to throw 160 innings. And there you go. We do end up getting Ronel Blanco off waivers from the A's, so he will be a member of our bullpen here. Alrighty, so Hans Kraus has been sent down to AAA Salt Lake, and Ronel Blanco is now a member of our bullpen here in the middle relief role. We have changed his number. He is wearing 65 with us because he wears 56 in real life. That's what Ryan Zefferjan wears with us. He's on our 40-man roster, so rather than get all confusing with it, we decided to just flip it and go 65 for Ronel Blanco. The 2027 campaign is underway, as the Angels are going to be playing host to an AL West division foe in the Houston Astros, here to kick off their campaign. Take a look at the Angels' projected leaders for individual stats this season. Lots of Nolan Schanuel, Mike Trout, Zach Neto, and the newly acquired Ha-Seong Kim. And then last season's big trade deadline pickup, Shane McClanahan, is going to be getting the opening day start here for the Halos. We'll start things off top half of the second with him striking out Yainer Diaz for out number 2, and then he proceeds to strike out Nick Allen on the changeup for 2 Ks in the top half of the second. Move things on to the third, where he had to roll into starts. Jose Altuve comes up, locks him up on the up fastball. That's 2 down. And then the main Black Bear comes to the dish, and Jeremy Pena proceeds to rip one into the left field bullpen as McClanahan gives up a solo shot, and the Astros strike first in this one. It's a 1-0 lead. But McClanahan was not rattled as he proceeds to then strike out Alvarez on the slider. Jordan goes down swinging, and it's only the 1 run. Bottom of the 3rd here against Hunter Brown, the opening day starter for the Astros. Take a look at the Angels opening day 1-9. Start things off here, bottom 3 for the Halos, and Nolan Shawnowell muscling one out to left center field. Some opposite field power. Starting to really get up there with the power numbers here for Shawnowell. Possibly a good omen for a good power season there as he kicks things off for the season for a 1-1 tie there. And then at the top of the 4th, it's Isaac Paredes. Good morning. Dalton Varsho, good afternoon on the curveball, locks him up. And then you guessed it, Christian Walker comes up here with 2 outs, and good night. Gets the fastball blown by him. Strikes out the side, does McClanahan, move things on top 5. It's Nick Allen going down once again on 3 strikes. Drop 3rd strike, tossed over to first base. And then Taylor Trammell comes up, and he would also go down swinging. That's 2 more to the tally for McClanahan as he had it absolutely working through 5 innings in this game. But then in the 6th, starts to get in a bit of trouble here as Altuve comes up, some soft contact into left field, and gets a runner on. Then some more soft contact from Pena, this time through the right side. Back-to-back base knocks, brings up Jordan Alvarez, who would chop one over to third base, and Lamont Wade turns a 3-6-3 double play, so 2 down, runner on third. And then some more soft contact. Isaac Paredes jammed on the fastball on his hands, somehow punches that one out to right field in front of Trout, and the Astros now have themselves a 2-1 lead. Was the gink there? You bet your ass he was. Making his Angels debut here, works a clean frame, strikes out Nick Allen there for his 3rd K of the game. For Nick Allen is not obviously Ginkel, but then Camilo Doval came and joined the party, and he would work a clean frame as well in the 8th inning. And it's still a 2-1 game, though, as moving things on to the 9th inning. The Angels' bats need to get things going against Keegan Akin, Marlins legend. So top 9 here, and the first pitch Akin throws out of the bullpen, sayonara. Absolutely tattooed into the seats. Mike Trout gets his first big fly of the season here in the 9th inning on opening day to tie the game at 2. And then Curtis Mead would come on to pinch hit for Lamont Wade against the lefty, and he does his job, hits one off that right field wall, and that's going to be a double for Mead. And then to get some extra speed out there, Gustavo Campero came on to pinch run, brings up Zach Neto, who takes an 0-1 pitch into right field, slow roller, Campero rounding third, heading home. The throw is offline and not in time. The Angels walk this one off as they win it here on opening day by a score of 3-2, thanks to the walk-off RBI single from Zach Neto. Before that, there was the Curtis Mead double, and before that, the one swing Mike Trout solo home run to tie it up here as the Halos get their W1 to start the season, undefeated here in 2027 so far. Trout was indeed your player of the game. He had that home run, went 3 for 4 in the day, also had 2 singles. Nolan Shawnowell had a big fly as well. Curtis Mead had that pinch hit double. Zach Neto with the walk-off single. Kikuchi gets the win out of the bullpen. And then Shane McClanahan goes 6 innings, 6 hits, only 2 runs, no walks, and 9 punch-outs for the former University of South Florida Bull. Fantastic way to kick off the 2027 campaign. Mike Trout, the Millville Meteor, and the Halos hit the road here as they take on the St. Louis Cardinals under the arch here at Busch Stadium. It is Tink Hence making his 4th start of the season. We'll start things off top half of the 2nd, 2 outs. 3rd pitch swinging through there or 3rd strike rather I should say for Kim, but it's a drop 3rd strike, beats it out. And then Christian Moore comes up and he proceeds to rip one into left field. So 1st and 2nd here, 2 outs for the Halos. But then Tink Hence would get out of it by getting Perez to ground out. So the Angels stranding some runners there in the 2nd, move things on top 3. Mike Trout whiffs through this 1st pitch, and he was hurt on the swing. Fortunately, not seriously, but did have to come out of the game. Isaac Collins would replace him from there on out, and then Lamont Wade here later in the inning. Loud out, hanging slider, but right at the center fielder Scott. And then Caden Dana was the starter on the day here for the Angels, but here, a ball off of Thomas Sagassi's bat hits off Dana, and then he would also have to come out of the game. Once again, not seriously, but he did have to come out. So Sam Bachman entering the game here for the Angels, out of the bullpen cold, and proceeds to work a ground ball from Miguel Bleis. 6-4-3, gets out of it, works the clean frame. Moving on, top 4, Tink Hence back on the bump here, as Zach Neto, loud line out to left field. Logan O'Hoppe, loud line out to the second baseman. 2 loud outs for the Angels. And then Dylan Carlson makes some loud contact, but this time it actually finds some outfield grass. That's going to get up against the wall, past Alec Burleson in right field. And it's a 2-out double for Carlson against his former squad. And then the pitch to Kim gets passed into the backstop. Gets past the catcher to the backstop and moves the runner up to third base, but then Kim would just ground out to third base as the newly acquired Cardinal Alec Boehm fires over to first base. And then in the bottom of the 4th, Jordan Walker came up, and he's going down into the right field corner, as that's going to be a double for him. And then J.J. Weatherholt, the former West Virginia Mountaineer, rips one into left field, and that's going to be a 1-0 lead here for the Cardinals as they strike first. To take things on to the top of the 6th, where Isaac Collins grounds one through the infield, came on to replace Trout earlier in the game there. And Lamont Wade ground ball to shortstop. Weatherholt sliding stop, fires to first, gets Wade, basically works as a sack, and then with 2 outs, O'Hoppe spits on ball 4, so it's first and second here for the Halos. Tink Hence pitching to Dylan Carlson, cannot do any more damage against his former team as he goes down swinging, and they strand more runners. Yusei Kikuchi came on here in the 6th out of the bullpen for the Angels for his 5th time this season, and Jordan Walker gets a hanging changeup and absolutely does not miss. This one is into the left field seats. A solo shot makes it a 2-0 Cardinals lead as they extend their lead here with the 5th home run of the season for Jordan Walker. And then at the top of the 7th, Hassan Kim going over the head of the left fielder Brendan Donovan there. That's a leadoff double for the Korean shortstop, so he's on second base. Then it brings up Christian Moore, who muscles one through that right side of the infield. Kim scores from second base, and the lead is now cut in half. It's a 2-1 ball game. As then the Cardinals turn to the bullpen here, bring on the lefty, and Perez then hits a ground ball over to first base. It's a 3-6-1 double play, 2 down. And then the Angels trying to work it once again. Now it's Shawnwell here with 2 outs. Rips one into left center field, picks up a hustle double here. He's in scoring position. Then it brings up Isaac Collins. He spits on ball 4, first and second, 2 outs here. For the Angels, they bring on Curtis Meade to pinch hit against the lefty, and he proceeds to not be able to lay off the slider. Goes down swinging, and they strand 2 more runners. Kyle Leahy comes on here for the 6th inning for the Cardinals, or for the 8th inning rather. And Zach Neto, another loud out here. Hanging slider, hit right at the center fielder Victor Scott. And then Logan O'Hoppe, he singles into right field with 1 out. So maybe they do have something going, but unfortunately no. Dylan Carlson, 3-6-3 double play. Ends the inning, move things on to the 9th, where Alex Vesia, the left-hander, came on here for St. Louis for the 2nd time this season. First pitch of the AB to Christian Moore, middle changeup, good timing, somehow just fouls it off. And then he would fortunately get on base here as he spits on ball 4. So he's on first with 1 out, brings up Perez, who flies one out to left field. That's 2 down, runner still on first base. Brings up Shawnwell, who then just grounds one over to first base, and the Angels do not make the comeback. The Cardinals cling to life, and they shut the door as it's a 2-1 win for them here in St. Louis. They defend their stadium. Just another game where the Angels' problem of stranding runners on base there has just reared its ugly head. That was the story of this one. Jordan Walker was your player of the game. He went 3 for 4, the home run and the double. Tink Hence went 6 innings, only gave up 1 run. And then despite Dana getting hurt early in the game, he did go 2 1/3 scoreless. Bachman went 1 2/3. He gave up a run. Soriano went 1 scoreless. Kikuchi went 1 inning and then gave up the Walker home run. Then Ryan Johnson came in, gave us a scoreless inning. Ginkel gave us a scoreless inning. And then, unfortunately, just nothing was able to get done with the bats. Hassan Kim, Nolan Schoenwelt, Lamont Wade, and Dylan Carlson all had doubles on the day, but nothing to show for it, just that one run. And now before we move things on to the next game here, it is time to check things in with 2026's third overall draft selection. It is Reggie Coffey, the 19-year-old Venezuelan outfielder. Right-handed bat, right-handed throw, listed as a left fielder simply because of his arm, but we will get into that. Currently, Reggie Coffey is sitting at a 74 overall and a B potential, so very much a major league ready player. He could be in the lineup for us right now at the big league level if we wanted to go that route. Currently sitting at a 68 contact both against righties and left-handed pitching, a 64 power versus right-handed pitching, and then a 67 against lefties. Very respectable plate skills to start off his pro career as well. 54 vision and 57 discipline, and that's obviously going to just go up as his career progresses, but even right now, very respectable, like I said. Extremely durable player as well. 88 durability, not going to have to worry about him getting hurt left and right, not being able to stay on the field. Has a good glove, 69 fielding, 66 reaction. That will continue to go up and get into the 70s at some point in his career. But even as it stands right now, solid glove in the outfield to have. He's got decent enough speed to use to patrol all three outfield positions, to use as a good base runner, swipe some bags for you as well. Unfortunately, the thing that holds him back from being a true center field type guy is his arm. Very much has a Johnny Damon-esque arm. It's down in the 30s for strength and accuracy. It is not good whatsoever. So he has the glove and he has the speed to be able to play center field, but that arm really holds him back. And as we can all see, Coffey is starting his career at the AAA level with the Salt Lake Bees. He skipped AA entirely simply because he's just that good of a bat already at 19 years old. And as far as his major league projection here, his MLB ETA, ideally, it's next season. I would say that he's very much major league ready right this second. He could be our fifth hitter right now if we wanted him to be. But the best case scenario in my mind is that Dylan Carlson absolutely bangs for us in the big leagues this season and is just a very good player for us in the final year of his contract. And then once he hits free agency at the end of the season, Reggie Coffey, after a full season of just cooking down in AAA, getting his progression up, progressing a bit more at the ratings, getting a full season of pro ball, and then he's ready to take over in 2028 as our full-time left fielder. However, things rarely go as to perfection in baseball and sports in general, so if Carlson struggles throughout the season, we might make the decision to push Carlson down to the fourth outfielder, send down Collins to AAA, and have Coffey be our left fielder. Or if there's an injury. Now, the injury would have to be a long-term injury because I do not want to call up Reggie Coffey just for a 2-week stint just to then send him back down or turn him into a fourth outfielder, because if we want him in the big leagues, we want him playing every day. We do not want him being a sporadically playing fourth outfielder type of guy. So if he does get called up because of an injury, it needs to be something that knocks a player out of the lineup for a significant amount of time. But overall, we are extremely excited to see what Reggie Coffey does here with the Los Angeles Angels throughout his career. Alrighty, folks, so things have not been going well here in the month of April for our Halos, sitting at 10-17 to kick off 2027. Really brutal stretch in the middle of the month, after the Seattle series where we took 2 out of 3 from them. Then it's against the Athletics, getting swept on the road by the Cardinals, a bunch of close games there, bunch of close games of the Yankees, getting swept there. But then we bounce back with a 2 out of 3 series win on the road in Toronto, and then we are heading into a rubber match against the Nationals here in some interleague play towards the end of April. So we do have a chance to turn things around here, but things just overall have not been going well. 4-6 in our last 10-17 overall. We need to figure it out because this is a team that we're trying to make the playoffs with. I felt like we were better than we were last season, and so far on paper, obviously it's very early, but the early returns not looking so hot. And, I'm not going to go through a super in-depth statistics analysis on our entire roster here, But you can pretty much get the picture of what the hell's going on here. You look at our lineup against righties. Cold, 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 cold. Nothing, cold. Not great there. You take a look at the pitching rotation. Cold, cold, cold. 3 cold guys in the rotation. The bullpen has been mainly fine. You look at the ERAs there for the bullpen. The worst is Ginkle, but it's a bullpen guy, so you get 1 bad outing and it rockets up. The rest of these guys have been pretty much really, really good. Even Ben Joyce has a 0 ERA through 9 2/3, so the bullpen's been really good. Dana's been struggling a bit as well. McClanahan's actually been really, really good with a sub-3 ERA so far through the first month, but the rest of the staff, the rest of the rotation, I should say, struggling very much, along with our bats, which are also, like I mentioned, struggling mightily, aside from Mike Trout, who has started to turn things around. He did get off to a slow start. He has a 708 OPS right now. This was in the 500s. And then Shawnuel is just doing Shawnuel things, being a steady 800 OPS for us like he usually is. The Los Angeles Angels back at home here, playing host to the Washington Nationals in some interleague action as they look to right the ship here on their slow start to the season, and they'll be facing left-hander Mitchell Parker, chucking the pill here for the Nationals. Start things off bottom half of the first inning. It's Nolan Shawnuel doing what he does. Lead-off double here off that left center field wall. He's in scoring position immediately. And there's going to be no stranded runners this time. 1 out. Curtis Mead comes up and he goes out to left center field, finds some outfield grass. And that's going to score the run as the Angels strike first in this one, 1-0 for the Halos. Bottom 2, Luis Urias in against the left-handed pitcher and delivers here. Grounds one up the middle. He's on with a base knock, and then Ha-Seong Kim hits this one over the head of the left fielder, and this one's going to get up against the wall. The diving left fielder then allows Urias to score all the way from first base on a Ha-Seong Kim double. It's a 2-0 lead now. Move things on to the bottom of the 4th, where Zach Neto, the fighting camel, rips one into left field. That's going to be a leadoff 2-bagger here for the Halos, and then Dylan Carlson comes up, and he proceeds the power one to right center field. Not quite deep enough to get out of here, but very much deep enough to tag up Neto to third base. So then with 1 out, it brings up Luis Urias, who proceeds to be a lefty masher here as he hits one over the head of the left fielder, and that's going to be a 1-out RBI double, makes it a 3-0 Angels lead here in this game. We'll check things in with George Klassen, who was the starter on the day for the Angels, making his 6th appearance. And in the top half of the 5th, he walks Chaparro with 1 out, puts him on first. As then it would bring up Andrew Pinckney, who grounds one over to third base. Neto can only knock it down, so that's going to be an infield single for Pinckney. And then Nasim Nunez lays down a perfect bunt. Really, really tough play for the second and first baseman there, as it's now bases juiced for the Nationals. And then a line drive from Tanya, right at the right fielder Mike Trout. They do not test his arm. That's 2 down. Then brings up James Wood. A line drive. Nice snag by Ha-Seong Kim. They somehow tiptoe out of danger. But then on the top of the 6th, Klassen was not so lucky. Runner on first base, and Brady House is going into that left field tunnel. A 2-run blast, and it's now a 1-run game with 1 swing of the bat here. And then Ryan Johnson would end Klassen's day as the Dallas Baptist man comes out of the bullpen here with 2 outs to face Chaparro, and he gets a hanging slider, and he also crushes this one out towards that car on the grass in left center field. 434. 1 swing of the bat. It's now a 3-3 game. They would take that into the 7th, where Jose Ferrer comes on for the 12th time this season for the Natties. And here, in the bottom of the 7th, it's going to be a leadoff walk there for Luis Urias, as then Ha-Seong Kim grinds into a 6-4-3 double play. 2 down, and the Angels trying to fight back once again. It's a walk here from Perez. He works a base on balls. And then Logan O'Hoppe comes in to pinch hit for Campera, who got the start at catcher on the day. And he hits a little 3-iron shot here, finds some grass there, and that allows the runner to go first to third. So runners are on the corners here, and Nolan Shawnuel, 2 outs, 2-0 count, and he delivers. Hits a slow roller into the left center field gap. That's going to score both runners, and it's a 5-3 game now as the Angels back in front. They would take that lead into the 9th inning, where Ben Joyce comes on looking for his 6th save of the season. And Asim Nunez comes up with 2 outs, and he hits one off that weird part of the right field wall where it's still the same wall, but it counts as a home run because some dumb rule they came up with. So he hits a solo shot, makes it a 5-4 game, and then Jose Tena, he's going at the center field, and it looks like, Ben Joyce getting ready to blow this one. Go ahead, run at the plate in James Wood. Locked up, no need to worry. Joyce strikes him out on the 100-mile-an-hour fastball, and that would be your final 5-4 in this one as Ben Joyce slams the door, gets that 6th save of the season. Ryan Johnson ends up with the win as the Angels eke it out here, tiptoe out of danger in the 9th. Sean will get your player of the game honors in this one. 2 doubles on the day for him. Luis Arias also had 2 hits against left-handed pitching. George Klassen goes 5 2/3, 7 hits, 2 walks, 6 Ks on the day for him, and only 2 earned runs given up. Like I said, Johnson got the win. Camilo Doval came in for the hold, and Ben Joyce gets his save. So with that being said, that's going to wrap things up here for this edition of the Angels here on MLB The Show 25. I've been your host, JerseyBorn, and I'm saying, homonym, the best show on TV.